Hello and welcome. Today, we have several interesting stories. They include stories about an entitled husband who controls his wife, an entitled friend who refuses to pay her share of the rent to help her roommate, entitled children conniving with their mother to adopt a stray animal while disrespecting their father. Sit back, relax and enjoy. First story. Hi. First-time poster. My wife, 30F, and I, 31M, have been married for about 7 years now. I decided to go on a last-minute work trip which caused me to have to book flights, hotel, etc. late at night and then fly out the next day. I needed new work slacks for the trip since I've primarily been working from home in my current company, so we had to make a late-night run to the local Walmart to get a few pairs. We also got some button-up shirts. When we got home I had some stuff to finish up with the planning, so I asked my wife to wash my new clothes so that my shirts weren't so wrinkly. I handed her the shirts to wash separately and put the pants in the redditaita laundry. While they washed she packed my suitcase and then added the shirts when they were done. When it came time to leave, I verified everything was packed by asking her if she packed my pants. She said yes. Too late the next night when I arrive at my hotel and my slacks aren't in there, only my brown khakis and gray khakis. I called her pretty upset asking where my slacks were. She got defensive and told me she thought she packed all my clothes. I had laid them out on the bed besides the stuff to be washed, and told me they should be in there. I made her check the laundry room to be sure and she looked around the whole house before finding them in our bedroom laundry basket unwashed. I repeated a few times how I was frustrated that she hadn't packed them but had told me that she did. She said she didn't realize by pants I meant my slacks and that she was busy trying to do other stuff and just had a memory of packing some pants with all the other things I had laid out. She also said it was unreasonable for me to be upset with her when they are my pants and she didn't think she was expected to do a whole second load of laundry at midnight. In the end, she attempted to make me feel better by saying that it would be okay and my work would understand that sometimes things get a bit hectic with packing and traveling last minute, and I can buy more in the evening hopefully. I feel kinda bad cause I could tell she was frustrated with me for blaming her, but in my defense, I did ask her if she had packed everything. The first reply: "You are the idiot. You're a grown adult and should be doing your own packing and laundry. It is your responsibility to check that all the items were in the suitcase before leaving. I'm also not sure why you put the clothes in a redditaita garment hamper, as the only reason they would have been discovered is if your wife decided in the middle of the chaos of your departure to put a load of laundry on. If you wanted these specific items washed at once, they should have been in the redditaita vicinity of the washing machine, or you should have put them on yourself. Putting washing on takes all of a minute." The second reply: "You are the idiot. You had time to lay it all out for her to pack, but not pack yourself? And why, if this was such urgent laundry, would you put the urgent items in a hamper in your bedroom? Why not actually put them in the room that the laundry gets done in? And lastly, do your own damn washing if it's that important." The third reply: "You are the idiot. Just tell your boss. It's my wife's fault I didn't tell her where I put the pants because it's her job to do my laundry and pack for me even though I'm a grown adult. Don't be surprised if you get a promotion. How was she supposed to know where you put them? Why would you separate them from the shirts if they were all going to be packed / going to the same place? Why wouldn't you tell her where you put them instead of just assuming she's psychic? Finally, why is it her job to do your laundry and pack for you? She packed what you laid out. She shouldn't have to do that for a grown man, but here we are. You owe her an apology and you need to learn to do things for yourself. Edit/update. I accept that I aitA and have apologized to my wife. She responded graciously and told me she knows a lot of it was just my stress from traveling and worrying about work. We are good now and I promise to do better in the future. Thanks to everyone who engaged with me civilly in the comments. I showed my wife the post and she wants to say that she is a little surprised at how angry everyone else was. She says she was frustrated but knew it's not a pattern. Especially some individual messages that some very angry people decided to send me. The second story. I 32F have known Kara 32F since 1995. In November 2021, she asked me to move in with her, her fiancé, M30, and her brother, M40. My apartment wanted to raise my rent and they were saving for a wedding, so moving in would help each other out. I wasn't on the lease because the landlord would probably up the rent. I noticed after moving in that they'd spend their money on things they never really used. Purses, shoes, and random fandom decor, and they would go out to eat a lot. Out-of-state vacations were every 2 to 3 months. I wasn't allowed to have people over. 3 months in I wanted to bring over my boyfriend at the time. It caused a huge argument. After we broke up she was adamant that no one else was allowed to come over. She would go into my room when I wasn't there. In June she started to call it her room that I was renting, so she can do whatever she wants. I changed the lock on the door without telling her and closed the door just to see what would happen. I came home to the door being open and the frame being cracked because I must have accidentally locked myself out. In July, the water heater blew up and caused a flood. Within the next few days, everyone got sick. When I asked her to get it checked for mold, she refused. Luckily, she didn't have to pay anything because the landlord covered fixing the water heater. She was relieved that she could still go on her California vacation, but everyone in the house kept getting sick every couple of weeks. I purposely avoided the house so it didn't affect me quite as much as it used to when I was constantly there. In November 2022, I came home and found black mold literally growing on the bathroom ceiling in different spots. I confronted her about it multiple times and she said it's calcium buildup. In December, they finally picked out a wedding date and venue. His parents told them that instead of paying for the whole thing like they originally said they would only be paying for half because she wanted an elegant look. Her parents are both passed away, so it's up to the couple to pay for the other half. My friend started freaking out because they hadn't saved the entire year. In early January, my brother's divorce was finalized and he got the house. He asked me if I'd like to rent out a room as he'd rarely be home. He's charging me next to nothing. It's honestly an offer I couldn't refuse. I took them out to eat in public and told them I paid them for February's rent even though I had my stuff moved out before the end of January. They were shocked and went silent until last week when I was flooded with texts. Apparently, I'm completely F-ing them over. They said they were going to have to change the venue and she might have to return her $1,500 dress. They wanted me to know about how badly I messed them over. She asked if I could spot her some money every now and then to help make up for my betrayal. To be honest, I'm over this friendship. Am I the idiot? The first reply: absolutely not the idiot. There was mold in the apartment that your so-called friend was refusing to take care of. Plus you weren't allowed to have guests and your privacy wasn't being respected. Moving out was the smart thing to do. It's clear that Kara only asked you to move in with her so she could use your rent to live a more comfortable lifestyle. Think about it. If they asked you to move in so they could save up for their wedding, why did they freak out when they learned his parents were only going to pay half the costs? After a year of having a roommate, they should have had a good portion of the money saved up. You don't owe her anything. She should have been more of a responsible adult and a much better friend. It would probably be best to end the friendship. The second reply: not the idiot. How is paying for their wedding your responsibility? They didn't save a dime for their own wedding, and they were completely blowing their money. She also didn't respect your friendship, insisting you weren't allowed to bring anyone over and by breaking into your room. I'm surprised you didn't move out right then. Wouldn't the landlord be on the hook for the black mold, too? Third reply: not the idiot. She's not a friend. She was looking for some financial contribution to maintain her lifestyle while treating you like crap, not giving you privacy, and not allowing you to have anyone over. That's not a housing situation. That's being grounded by someone who's not your parents. You don't owe them crap. Who cares what they feel? Their wedding, their problems. They will have trouble finding someone who would put up with being treated that way as a tenant. Cut her out of your life. Block her number. She's not a friend. She's a user who took advantage of you and is upset she can't continue to do. The third story. So my wife and 2 teenagers went to tour a little animal sanctuary/rescue this past weekend while I was at work and had a good time. Maybe too good of a time. Among the many animals they had there were 3 foxes, apparently, each one a former pet surrendered by its owner, 3 different owners, and I guess the volunteers/workers there talked about how they obviously can't be released, aren't accustomed to having to live purely outside with limited human interaction, but it's the best they can do until they find someone to adopt them, but that it's hard to because people seem to be surrendering their pet foxes faster than new potential owners are willing to accept them these days. My daughter proposed the idea that we adopt at least one of them since she felt bad for them and that they have nowhere else to go. I admired the thought, but to my surprise, my wife seemed pretty open to the idea and said, "I wondered the same thing. It would be great for someone to be able to give them a home. Why not us?" I tried to shut it down and say it was a crazy idea, but they keep bringing it up. Apparently, my daughter's done research and it wouldn't be illegal in our state or township, is looking into what sort of enclosure we'd have to build in our yard, diet. And my wife seems to be sort of encouraging all this, saying, "Look, it wouldn't be that hard. We have a big enough yard. It'd liven up the place," etc. I tried doing my own research and the very first thing everyone seems to mention is that they stink. But they sort of rolled their eyes and said, "Oh, it wasn't that bad. None of us were that bothered by it during the tour. Dogs stink too. They'll be mostly outside anyways." But I'm not convinced. I asked, why do you think all these people abandoned them? There has to be some reason. I tried to put my foot down and shut the whole thing down, but then they got a bit upset and said I should at least be open-minded to see if it would make sense or not, and how could I be so heartless to the poor foxes, etc. Am I the idiot? The first reply, not the idiot. And your reason is sound. They stink to high heaven. If you want them to see how bad, get a bottle of fox urine, and spray a cloth you're willing to throw away. Then, put it in a bowl you're willing to throw away. Put the bowl in their room, close the door, and then have them go in after an hour. Then let them know the whole house will smell like that for as long as the fox is y'all's pet. From fox rescues, the majority of foxes who are surrendered are because of the smell. They're cute, but God in heaven do they reek. The second reply, not the idiot. My brother's friend got one once. I don't remember if it was a rescue also, but he ended up the same way, had to give his fox up. It was an Arctic fox he named Mango. He did not want to crate train Mango, so he'd leave it out in his house when he went to work. As other comments have mentioned, foxes cover their territory with stink, but also piss and crap. Mango would absolutely trash the house, every single time he left. I was mainly told about the stink, but Mango ripped up furniture and anything else also. My brother dropped this friend off at home one time, during this. He held the door open, his friend and friend's girlfriend walked in and then the smell hit my brother. My brother immediately vomited. My brother has a ridiculously strong stomach for stuff like this, but the thickness of the smell got him, he said. The third reply, pet fox or not, if it's an animal that will be living with the family, everyone deserves to have a say in the matter. My mom in the past has brought puppies into the home multiple times without letting anyone know, which basically forced everyone into a position to take care of it as it was deemed the family pet. Of course, I love those dogs to death now, but the point was none of us had a say, to begin with. Something tells me that's also what's going on here to some degree. They might be hoping that once they get their foot in the door, they can warm you up to the idea of having the fox around. It's nice that they want to care for the fox, but at the end of the day, you have every right to not want one in or around the home, and that should be respected. Hopefully, you can show them that taking care of a fox is not as easy as they make it out to be. Not the idiot. The fourth reply. Not the idiot. Foxes are not pets, and they have a strong musk scent. Just like raccoons, civets, caracal, and other exotic pets, these are wild animals. They can become tame but will remain wild animals. With time, these foxes will adapt to living in the sanctuary, and they are a great example of why people should not have exotic pets. Obviously, I don't know how big your property is, but your neighbors may have an issue with their odor as well. If your daughter and wife truly want to take care of a wild animal, they could either adopt one that will always remain at the sanctuary. Alternatively, they can also volunteer their time at the sanctuary. These places always need assistance with cleaning, food preparation, and educational activities.